Happy Friday, South Africa. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, Jummah Mubarak. It's Friday and it's an overdue for the week rent. Lots happened this week. I just want to take a moment to send my condolences to the parents who lost their children in that horrific crash on Tuesday. Now, I can talk about that forever, but I'm not going to. What I want to focus on this morning is Uncle Buffalo's budget speech on Wednesday, where he said so considerately that it's going to be a tough winter, it's going to be a cold winter, and South Africans must pull together. And I'm thinking to myself, what a bloody nerve this man has got to tell us. We as South Africans must pull together. What the hell does he think we've been doing for the last 20 odd years? Pulling together Thumamina Samasa. Right? I want to ask Mr. Buffalo, Cyril Ramaphosa, who can stand there and lecture us about pulling together on load shedding, when him and his cabinet and his cohorts and his ANC cadres, who are wholly unqualified for their positions in government. How dare they tell us we must pull together? Are we the ones responsible for the corruption at Eskom? Are we the ones, our ministers, our deputy ministers, our DGs and our assistant DGs and whatever the hell they are, who collect millions annually from the taxpayers? That's us. So just because you're not working maybe, or you are on a social grant, and you're not contributing to pay as you earn, doesn't mean you're not a taxpayer. My darling people, South Africa, you're still paying tax. It's the poor person's tax. When you pay VAT, you pay tax. So all of us are taxpayers. We all employ these arseholes who don't know what the hell they're doing. So I want to ask Mr. Buffalo, President Buffalo, how dare he lecture us about pulling together and saving electricity when him and the people he has put in his cabinet and his predecessor put in cabinet, they are the ones who are responsible directly and or indirectly and are benefiting directly and or indirectly from the corruption at Eskom and elsewhere, who have driven Eskom into the ground. In 1994, when the Nats handed over the assets of this country to the ANC, we had the cheapest electricity in the world. Now, we are not going to excuse apartheid. None of us are here excusing apartheid. We are pointing out the facts that the apartheid government handed over to you the cheapest electricity in the world. South Africa. The cheapest electricity in the world. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for stealing money that should be going to poor people so that people in the townships don't have to steal electricity. For years, municipalities run by the ANC didn't pay the electricity bill. Did anybody say anything about it? If they mention it, they say, yeah, we don't want to this and we don't want to that and we don't want to this, that and the other. But nobody talks about, and nobody talked about for 20 years, the corruption at Eskom, the corruption at SIA, the corruption everywhere. Everywhere. Poor people's money. So you can take that budget speech and you can shove it up your ass. And then you can go sit on your couch stuffed with US dollars. I don't care about your US dollars. I really don't. Or anyone else's US dollars. But what I do care about is a hypocritical government, a hypocritical president who tells us we must pull together to save electricity. I want to ask you something, Cyril. Do you suffer from load shedding in your private mansions that you got because you were connected politically? And that's why you were able to amass millions, you and your cronies. Do you have load shedding? And if you do have load shedding, how many inverters do you have in your house? In your official residence as president, you and your ministers, do you guys have load shedding? The answer is no, you don't have load shedding. So don't come lecture to us. Don't come lecture to the so-called people that you're supposed to be protecting in our townships. Makassar has been going through some kind of crime wave because they're in the dark most of the time. People are literally dying. A child died because the inverter couldn't sustain itself anymore because of the load shedding. Somebody's got to bury their child. But you have got the nerve to lecture us about load shedding and pulling together and saving electricity. You must go fuck yourself. You and your whole cabinet must go fuck yourselves. And South Africa must take note we're voting next year. We can't vote these arseholes in every time and then blame them. We as voters have to take responsibility. And please don't look at Julius. Julius is going to be worse than the ANC. Okay, so we must think carefully about who really has the interests of all South Africans at heart. I can't tell you who to vote for, but it cannot be the ANC. Because we can't keep knocking our head against the struggle when most of the people serving now were not even part of the struggle. The actual struggle heroes are either dead or they've been sidelined because they never agreed with the corruption, the nepotism, the cronyism, and okay, it's our time to eat. It's our time to eat while the rest of South Africa starves in darkness. Mense, maak julle oë oop. The reason I'm wearing sunglasses is I had a very bad night last night because I was watching a movie, a quiet movie on Netflix. I highly recommend. Something about the Crawdads. Lovely movie. Lovely, watch it. And South Africa, I love you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Rant over.